This week, Fulton County Sheriff deputies arrested Jenkins after an explicit cell phone video involving an inmate surfaced. We blurred and stopped the video before the more graphic part, but in the cell phone video, you can see Jenkins sitting in her uniform. Then a man's finger appears near her mouth. She next performs a sexual act on the man's finger before the video abruptly ends.
The Fulton sheriff locks up another one of his own deputies.
As Fox 5's Morris Diggs reports now, the deputy is accused of getting big overtime checks for hours she didn't work.
Well, it has happened again. The sheriff of Fulton County has terminated an officer who wound up on the wrong side of the law. She apparently got into an altercation with another woman that was personal in nature, according to Sheriff Pat Labatt's office.
In today's video, we're diving into a series of shocking cases involving correctional officers across Georgia who have found themselves on the wrong side of the law. From Fulton County to Clayton County, multiple officers have been arrested and fired for misconduct, ranging from smuggling contraband into jails to orchestrating violent attacks on inmates. These incidents have sent shockwaves through their respective departments, raising serious concerns about corruption and accountability within the correctional system. Stay tuned as we break down the stories of Kawana Jenkins, Wanquilla Anthony, Sean Hollinshead, and more, each case revealing just how deep the issues within the system go.
A sexually explicit cell phone video now has a Fulton County detention officer off the job and facing some very serious charges. The video shows 36-year-old Kawana Jenkins engaged in a lewd act, and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says it was with an inmate.
36-year-old Kawana Jenkins now faces a slew of serious charges. This week, Fulton County Sheriff deputies arrested Jenkins after an explicit cell phone video involving an inmate surfaced. We blurred and stopped the video before the more graphic part, but in the cell phone video, you can see Jenkins sitting in her uniform. Then a man's finger appears near her mouth. She next performs a sexual act on the man's finger before the video abruptly ends.
We're uncovering the scandal that rocked the Fulton County Jail, an alleged forbidden relationship between a detention officer and an inmate. Kawana Jenkins, a 36-year-old officer, is at the center of this controversy, facing serious charges that have put her career and freedom on the line. Jenkins, who had been with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office since December 2019, is now charged with multiple counts, including improper sexual contact, violation of oath, reckless conduct, and cruelty to inmates. The incident came to light after a routine shakedown in a maximum security wing of the jail, where a sheriff's strike team seized contraband, including 11 cell phones. What they discovered on one of those phones led to Jenkins' downfall, a video showing her sitting on an inmate's lap, engaging in inappropriate behavior. But this wasn't just an exchange of affection. The inmate was caught on camera asking Jenkins for something specific, raising further concerns about the nature of their relationship. The video evidence was enough for the sheriff's office to take immediate action, resulting in Jenkins' termination and subsequent arrest. This case has not only sparked outrage, but also highlighted the ongoing issues of contraband and misconduct within correctional facilities. As the investigation continues, the Fulton County community is left to grapple with the implications of this shocking breach of trust.
Wednesday, Wanquilla Anthony waived her first court appearance, but newly released court documents accuse the 33-year-old of submitting fraudulent timesheets that investigators say allowed her to collect tens of thousands of dollars in overtime pay for work she never completed.
It looks like in excess of $130,000 off of a base salary that is $50,000, that this particular young lady had falsified documents, forged those documents, and in fact was still in time.
Sheriff Labatt says this criminal investigation began last month after his office launched an internal audit looking specifically at which employees were earning the most overtime pay. Investigators say Anthony topped that list. In fact, according to the arrest affidavit, an official in HR contacted her to inquire about the name of the sergeant who had signed the time adjustment sheet. But the sergeant denied signing her timesheets, telling the investigators that he had not worked with her since 2021.
And add another mugshot, Juanquilla Anthony, to the list that administrators for Patrick Labatt, the Fulton sheriff, would have preferred not to take. The latest allegation of misconduct by officers stems from record keeping and a review of employee time cards. An investigator cross-checked overtime hours submitted by Anthony with supervisors and allegedly found forgeries. From court documents, the investigator wrote, "I interviewed Sergeant Norwood, who indicated she had not signed the time adjustment sheet I presented. Sergeant Norwood indicated she was not aware of detention officer Juanquilla Anthony working many overtime hours. She frequently calls out."
We're diving into the case of Juanquilla Anthony, a former Fulton County detention officer accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars through falsified overtime pay. Anthony, 33, was recently arrested and charged with several felonies, including theft by taking, first-degree forgery, and violation of oath by a public officer. She waived her first court appearance, but the allegations against her have sent shockwaves through the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. The investigation into Anthony's alleged misconduct began after an audit was launched by Sheriff Pat Labatt's office, specifically targeting overtime pay discrepancies. What they uncovered was alarming. Despite earning an annual salary of $50,000, Anthony managed to collect an additional $130,000 in overtime over the past year. Labatt called the situation physically impossible, pointing out that the sheer number of hours Anthony claimed were fraudulent. According to investigators, she forged documents to make it appear as though she was working extensive overtime, all while stealing time and money from the department. This case raises serious questions about oversight within the department and highlights the need for greater accountability in the system. As the investigation continues, stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.
This time tonight in the Clayton County Jail, a Clayton County jailer who is now behind bars himself. So Sean Hollinshead is accused of organizing a fight that left an inmate severely injured. This is what we learned from his peace officer standards and training files. He's already been fired twice. Once from his job as a jailer in DeKalb County for the Sheriff's Department, the Sheriff's Office. Another time with the Clayton County Sheriff's Office after just months of being on the job. So it's unclear right now why they hired him back. He was also charged with shooting 2 people back in 2014, but found...
We're diving into the disturbing case of a Clayton County corrections officer accused of orchestrating a brutal attack on an inmate. Officer Sean Hollinshead was arrested and fired Thursday night after allegedly arranging the assault that left an inmate in critical condition. This revelation comes straight from Sheriff Levin Allen, who is taking swift action to clean up his department. According to the sheriff, Hollinshead is facing charges of criminal negligence and violation of oath after he knowingly and recklessly placed the inmate in a high-risk housing unit, fully aware of the danger. What followed was a vicious beating and stabbing that left the inmate critically injured. Even more shocking, reports suggest that Hollinshead did nothing to help the inmate as the attack unfolded. In a powerful statement, Sheriff Allen said, "I locked up one of my own tonight and will continue to surgically remove any officers or deputies from my rank and file that places citizens, inmates, or employees at risk." It's clear that Allen is not holding back when it comes to accountability in his department. Authorities have also revealed that several other inmates were involved in the attack, and they too are facing additional charges.
The Sheriff's Corrections officer has been arrested and faces charges. Officer Rufus Webb Jr. was fired from the force after authorities say that he hit an inmate who was handcuffed. The sheriff...
Another troubling incident coming out of the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Officer Rufus Webb Jr. has been fired and is now facing charges after authorities revealed that he struck a handcuffed inmate. This shocking act of misconduct has resulted in swift action from the department. Sheriff Levin Allen released a statement condemning Webb's actions, stating, "This conduct violates the core values of the sheriff's office." The sheriff made it clear that this type of behavior will not be tolerated within the ranks, reinforcing the department's commitment to integrity and accountability. As the investigation continues, It's clear that the sheriff's office is taking serious steps to address any violations of protocol and ensure that those responsible are held accountable.
Well, it has happened again. The sheriff of Fulton County has terminated an officer who wound up on the wrong side of the law. She apparently got into an altercation with another woman that was personal in nature, according to Sheriff Pat Labatt's office. Fox 5 More States has told you about a myriad of problems Fulton County has had maintaining qualified sheriff's deputies. Morse is live from Northeast Atlanta with this latest development.
Well, there's a term that law enforcement uses, and that is from time to time they have to lay hands on someone during an encounter. But by departmental rules, it is not supposed to be personal. The incident played out as shown in this Instagram post. The commotion shown in a post on Instagram led to an investigation of a Fulton Sheriff's detention officer who, according to Sheriff Pat Labatt's office, engaged in some kind of personal back and forth with an individual named Rayonda Wynn. The female officer in the gray shirt identified as Shaniqua Bodden. It wouldn't be easy to see, but the two women spat on each other during the fracas, according to an Atlanta police report. This incident stemmed from Ms. Bodden showing up at an event with a temporary protection order she wanted to serve on Ms. Wynn.
We're diving into the latest incident involving a Fulton County detention officer, Shaniqua Bodden, who was recently terminated following a physical altercation in downtown Atlanta. Bodden, 30, was officially let go from her position on Tuesday, making her the fourth Fulton County Sheriff's Office employee to be arrested this year. According to a police report, the altercation took place on Forsyth Street, where Bodden had called 911 regarding a confrontation with another woman. Bodden, who was wearing her Fulton County Sheriff's Office uniform at the time, explained to officers that she had a temporary protection order against the woman and had been advised to have the order served by the Atlanta Police Department. After officers confirmed the paperwork, they approached the woman to serve the protection order. However, the situation escalated when the woman began recording Bodden and acting aggressively. As the woman was walking away, she finally accepted the paperwork but spat on Bodden, prompting a heated response. In retaliation, Bodden spat on the woman. Both were subsequently arrested and charged with disorderly conduct before being taken to city jail. Bodden's dismissal comes on the heels of several other troubling incidents involving Fulton County Sheriff's Office employees. Hired in March 2023, Bodden was still in her probationary period at the time of her termination. This case marks another unfortunate event in a series of misconduct issues within the department, highlighting the ongoing challenges faced by law enforcement agencies in maintaining accountability within their ranks.
And a Clayton County correctional officer found herself on the other side of the law this afternoon after she was accused of trying to enter the jail with contraband. Sheriff Levon Allen says a supervisor stopped her. She was fired, then arrested Sunday. She now faces 4 felony charges.
We're taking a closer look at a major incident at the Clayton County Jail that led to the arrest and termination of a correctional officer. Over the weekend, Correctional Officer Desiree Lowry was fired and arrested after being caught trying to smuggle contraband into the jail, a move that quickly ended her career and resulted in felony charges. According to Clayton County Sheriff Levon Allen, Lowry attempted to cross the jail's guard line with contraband in hand. However, before she could make it inside, an on-duty supervisor confronted her. At that moment, Lowry reportedly became frantic and tried to flee the scene. She was stopped, and by Sunday, she found herself on the other side of the jail's bars as a new inmate. In a statement, Sheriff Allen didn't hold back, saying, Desiree Lowry exchanged her employee badge number for an inmate number, her officer title for an inmate title, her blue uniform for an orange uniform, and her clean record for 4 felony charges. This case marks another significant arrest since Allen took over as sheriff. He reported that the department has made over 3,200 arrests, including 7 employees or contractors, and has removed over 300 tons of trash from Clayton County's streets. This latest incident serves as a stern reminder of the consequences that come with betraying public trust within law enforcement. Stay tuned for further developments on this story. As these cases unfold, they highlight the importance of integrity and accountability within our correctional facilities. The actions of these individuals not only breach the trust placed in them by the public, but also jeopardize the safety of inmates, staff, and the community as a whole. With sheriffs like Levin Allen and Pat Labott taking swift action to address these violations, it's clear that efforts are being made to clean up corruption within the ranks. As we continue to follow these developing stories, one thing is certain: justice will be pursued, and those who abuse their positions will face the consequences. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more updates as we uncover the truth behind these incidents.